Hello, my friends. Jacob is here. Happy Tuesday to you. Thanks for joining me, for pressing play, for spending a little time with me. Do me a favor and smash that like button and comment right now and say I'm the first one watching the video so I can get back to you and say how awesome you are. Please do subscribe. And don't forget to check the bell. Whatever you do, hit that bell. You know why? Because every time that people upload videos, if you haven't watched the channel for a while, you haven't been notified, you forget that I'm around. Guess what they do? They delete you. They delete you, you know? And I don't want you to be deleted. I want you to stick around because I have so much more to share. Today's show is going to be an interesting one. It's about the Mary Jane, man. It's about the kush and the cannabis. And it's about all the things that you probably haven't heard, or maybe you have heard. Maybe you're an enthusiast. Maybe you're high right now. And if you are, then the way I'm talking right now may freak you out just a little bit. A little bit. I'm just kidding. All right, so today we're going to talk about some interesting things. Andrew Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, right over there in in New York. Yeah, because I'm from Strong Island, right? Today's news day was all about the marijuana. He's about to make it legal in the state of New York. It's crazy. I think he's getting, it was already medical marijuana just came through. He was a big, he was the biggest naysayer. He said no in the very beginning, and then finally, because of enough information came out and enough people said, look, we don't want to take all the terrible drugs. We want to take this natural drug that's going to help us, and they finally approved it. But you know what? Connecticut, New Jersey soon, all over the place. We know Colorado. We know so many. I think it's almost 30 states right now where it's on track to becoming just completely legal, recreationally, not just medically. Now, which tells me that there's something else going on, because the fact that they've been so against this from the beginning. I mean, 1970, they made this thing like a class, it was like a substance, Schedule I substance. It was like one of the worst. They said that it had no medical benefit, that it's only bad. And you remember those movies, those crazy movies where they made everybody look crazy when they were high? Schedule I drugs, classified dangerous substance with no valid medical purpose and high potential for abuse, in the same category as heroin, right? You know that stuff that we import in? Or cocaine. More stuff that the CIA had to do with funding. And oh God, if you think about the government, some of the things that they've done. So you got to ask yourself the question, why are they trying to make it legal now? Is it because that right now Canada just made it legal? It was just like, it's a big deal now. It's all over in Canada. Boom. It's, just go down to the store. You can go get yourself a joint anywhere in Canada right now. This is like the big thing, right? And they also noticed that use of the drug has not increased since it's become legal. So today we're going to talk about some things. We're going to talk about some people who probably would never thought that, marijuana was a big part of their life. We're going to talk about some of the stigmatisms attached to it. But, see, this is the thing is I don't know if you've ever heard of the book Brave New World. I'm sure you have, especially if you're watching my channel. You're probably at least aware of it. If you haven't read it, you're at least aware of it. You're aware of this dystopian future that we're actually in right now, where the government just does everything to do to keep everybody happy and at peace. They keep you so distracted to keep you a slave. And they give you this drug called Soma, which is supposed to be like this euphoric drug that makes you feel so much better. And in the grand scheme of things, it was actually the worst thing in the world. Does alcohol, we know alcohol, how many people does it kill? Marijuana, nobody on record. We know that. And that's one of the reasons, right? Was because that there were actually medical benefits to this. And if they actually allowed the benefits to get out, then the pharmaceutical companies wouldn't make a lot of money on these terrible drugs that they give you that don't do it even close to as well. It's a lot better if you're nauseous to take something that's going to make you feel better and give you an appetite as opposed to something that's going to keep you up all night or give you the runs or make you grow a third ear out of your lip or something. Because, there are all these crazy, every time you hear a new drug commercial, you see the people walking and they're happy and everything else. It's like it's going to cause diarrhea. It's going to cause your fingers to fall out and you're going to die. You're going to bleed out of your eyes. I mean, some of the things that they say with these drugs that they're poisoning us with. Now, of course, there's a lot of good medicine, but why marijuana? Why has it not been heralded as the drug of the 21st century? A lot of people say it's because of its psychotropic effects, spiritual effects, things that get you to see a little more, think a little more, get a little more creative, maybe get you out of your fear and get you into a little bit more of your life and living your life, which is why I think the fact that they're marketing it right now, because all the vapes are everywhere. See, this is the thing. Like, if you don't think that, the vaporizer's coming out first, that this wasn't done as a steady stream to get people to become consumers of it. Right now, even in the same Newsday that was talking about Cuomo making marijuana legal, now they're talking about how vaping is such an epidemic. It's such a big deal that they're going to have to find ways to curb its use among teens by basically not putting the vapes right out in the front where you can get it with the candy. You get a pack of gum, I'll get a vape. But you can't, the cigarettes are in the back with the vape. You can get them. Anybody could get it, right? So they're not going to try to pull back on that. But here's the funny thing is that half of the vapes right now in the schools, a lot of marijuana in them already. So the groundwork's already laid and they got the great fan base already. And when the government gets involved, this is where the problem lies, right? Because I'm not too sure that it's going to be, you could grow your own and you can make sure that you know what it is that you're putting into your body. I think that has to be controlled by the government. And who's to say that when it is controlled, that, we know what the tobacco industry did, right? They made everything so addictive that you can't. How many people are still smoking? How many times you tried, right? And you're like, no, I'm just going to continue to kill myself. I smoked I can't believe it, 10 years of my life. How stupid I was, how foolish I was, because I thought that was giving me pleasure. And I didn't realize that it was actually stealing my life from me. Quitting smoking, food tastes better, I feel better, I have more wind, not to mention I don't stink. Now, I'm not saying if you're a smoker that you're a terrible, bad person. I obviously smoked for 10 years and I was very cool at it. I did I flipped the cigarettes and all that stuff, and it was dumb. And why was it dumb and why did I do it? Because I grew up around a house full of smokers. I was inured to it, I was used to it, I was programmed to go that route because, of course, we grew up poor. And in poor areas, you're more subject to smoke cigarettes, you're more subject to do drugs, and you're more subject to, of course, get involved with bad things because they put the liquor stores and they put the gun shops all into poor neighborhoods. That's right. You got to drive out of the nice neighborhood to go get yourself your hooch. So now that they're laying it down for marijuana use, right? Where before they were like, it's evil, it's evil, it's evil, it's a Schedule 1. How many people are in jail and they're imprisoned because they were simply smoking a joint? It's ridiculous how corrupt things have been. And now that they're making it legal, I can't help but think that they're making maybe a little bit of a mistake. Not that I'm against it. I am not against it. I am all for freedom as long as it doesn't impinge on the rights of others or hurt others. If anything, I would hope that when this happens, that there is a strict policy about age, because we don't really know the effects of it when I obviously wouldn't want my children doing it. I wouldn't, because they're too young for this, and I get to say, especially because I just had such a great, my 17-year-old Noah just graduated high school. Yeah. My 16-year-old Anthony, he just got his driver's license. Double yeah, right? And my daughter, moving up ceremony, 9th grade. She presidential honors, gets the big award. Yes, yes, yes. And then, of course, my little you know, Ethan, right? He gets the Integrity Award and he gets like all A's and all my children are beautiful, but we don't know the effects of this stuff. And see, now that the vapes are everywhere and you know that the kids are going to be pushing it. And of course, then once it becomes legal, how hard is it going to be for them to get it? Now, am I speaking against this? No. What I'm saying is I think they want this to become the opiate of the masses, if you will. I think they're hoping that this is going to put that final, chain link on our souls and keep us locked in a place of servitude. Because supposedly, if what they want happens, if Adolf Huxley's dystopian dream that is now, where everybody's taking Soma, they're taking that drug Soma because they're so miserable. So it's that euphoric drug to keep everybody happy. Give them what do you want? They learned all this stuff from psychologists like B.F. Skinner. Back in the day, the reward and punishment system with the rats. You give them, get them to do these tests. If they do this, you give them a reward. You hit that pleasure center of the brain, right? Get them addicted to it. Make everybody happy. Keep everybody locked in. How do you think celebrities, where they do their little hand signs and all this? Yes, it's all there because they are there to keep everyone else enslaved. They're there to keep everybody else distracted. Pay attention to the shiny things. Do what they do. Listen to the music and let the dust of the earth form you into another dead man called Adam, who can never get into the tree of life because he's too busy listening to the world. So now that we're seeing it be legalized everywhere, this is the interesting thing. This is really what the show is all about, because I think that if they're using this as a way to, well, you know what? Everybody's miserable right now. Things are hard right now. But yet, like I said, we're hearing about peace everywhere. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that a while ago? When everybody thought World War III was going to happen, I said, you're going to start to hear about peace everywhere. Just today, we hear about Kushner's peace plan in the Middle East. That's going to be the next thing that happens. Peace in the Middle East. That's going to be the next big news everywhere. I said it would happen. When you see, here's the thing, is when we were hearing about war and everything else, everybody was so scared, right? But now we're hearing nothing about war, are we? We're hearing about peace. We're hearing about trade wars. We're hearing about tariffs. But yet, not many people. Japan stopped their drill. They were going to have a drill, nuclear drill. Not anymore. Because, the stuff that's going on with North Korea. All right, it's everything's cooling over. It seems like, and now this thing with the Middle East, it's either 5 Arab states that are back in the U.S. plan with this. Not going to be long before we hear about peace in the Middle East. 7 years. Remember the 2 eclipses? This is what I've been talking about. So when I saw on the cover of Newsday, and don't get me wrong, understand what I'm saying here. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I am definitely for the legalization of marijuana for adults. I'll say that without a shadow of a doubt, because I have 2 diseases that are greatly benefited by it. When it becomes legal for me, now it is, I'm just a little lazy. I don't really want to be driving to Riverhead to get the government, the pill or whatever they're giving us now. It's an interesting thing, because something like this, which is natural, which is something, it shouldn't cost you anything. You'd be able to do it in there are some places where you can actually grow your own. You're allowed to contain this many plants and whatnot. I don't know the ins and the outs of it. I'm not a pot enthusiast, but I do see the great benefits of it. I was overjoyed years ago when Dr. Sanjay Gupta for fake news CNN, where he was such like a naysayer. He was like, no, it's so bad, it's so bad. He was telling everybody how wrong they were, until enough people reached out to him and showed him. People who had issues with seizures, people who had issues with epilepsy like you wouldn't know, people who had issues with cancer and nausea and other issues. Like one guy that, he had a severe case of hiccups, couldn't stop hiccuping, but the instant he, smoked that marijuana, all of a sudden, the diaphragm relaxed. So Sanjay Gupta he does a couple of shows on this, it's all groundwork, it's all being laid out. Now, the question is it like Adolf Huxley's Brave New World? Is that the next thing? Are they trying to get us all to just chill out, man, you know? So just chill out, dude. Just chill out. Just relax and let everything happen. 5G, man. It's everywhere. Don't worry about it. Nibiru's coming for you. Don't worry about it. The Bible's changed, man. Don't worry about it. Pass the joint. If they think that's what's going to happen, they're in for something. They're in for a surprise. Because I don't know if you know this, but some of the greatest minds and some of the greatest influencers in the world, including Abe Lincoln himself, who said two of my favorite things are sitting on my front porch smoking a pipe of sweet hemp. And not just him, Carl Sagan, Michael Phelps. Remember Michael Phelps? Wins all those awards. He's like Aquaman, and they catch him with the bong and they make a big deal out of it. Obviously, Cheech and Chong. Move on. That's funny, I guess. Obviously, Bob Marley, musicians like the Beatles. I mean, I could give you a list of people, but you'd be surprised that like people like Steve Jobs, okay? People like Bill Gates, all of them pot enthusiasts. And I'm not saying they're good guys, but they understood the benefits of it, right? And when they were high, they would come up with these ideas. Physicists, biologists, giants in these fields, all smoked weed. A guy named Lester Grinspoon showed a real commitment to this work as a psychiatry professor at Harvard. He released a book, Marijuana Reconsidered, in 1971, and he concluded that marijuana is only helpful, not harmful. And he didn't like mess the whole thing up by being a pot enthusiast beforehand. He did all of the research, and then he decided he was going to get high on a regular basis. So am I telling you you should just go out and smoke pot? No, I'm not saying that. Should I saying that you're a bad person if you do? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if they think that this drug acts like all of the other death drugs that they have promoted and marketed, like cocaine, like heroin, like all of these SSRIs that are getting people to want to kill themselves or kill others, and bath salts, and one of the top shows of all time, Breaking Bad, about what? Crystal meth. Huge epidemics with these drugs. And now, what? Because the outcry is so great, they're like, why don't we just give them the marijuana too? But you see, that's where the problem lies. Cannabis is used in like all religions. The earliest one was in Taoism. That's right, yeah. Back in 4th century BC, the fundamental philosophy of Taoism is the harmony and balance of all things. And I'm not saying I'm a Taoist. I'm not. Hear what I'm saying? I'm just reading the religions that use the marijuana. Okay, Buddhism was another big one, big one. And the Vedic scriptures and the Hinduism, okay? The Hinduism, this dates back by 3,000 years. According to the Vedas, cannabis is one of the 5 sacred plants. It's believed to hold a guardian in its leaves. And the leaves of the tree is a guardian, man. It's a guardian, dude. It's looking over my shoulder. Now, in the Old Testament, in 1936, Polish etymologist Sola Bennett publicized a new interpretation of the ancient text from the Old Testament. She claims the mistranslation in the original Greek version of the text, which would give many religious texts a whole new meaning. According to her theory, the Hebrew word for cannabis, cannabosum, was mistaken for calamus, which is a plant that has been used to make fragrances. If her theory is correct, and the book of Exodus, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, all these books, everybody was getting high. There's actually some people that say that this was the cloud that led Israel through the wilderness. A cloud in the day and a fire at night, you know. Or the burning bush that spoke to Moses. Some say that that was, you know, he was lighting up. I'm not saying that. I see the burning bush as something else. We'll get into it. I'm not saying that at all, but what I'm saying is that there has been a correlation between marijuana use and faiths in the world. Of course, yeah, Rastafarians, it's a huge part of their faith. So they've rolled out all these drugs to kind of keep us in check. And then they've given all the doctors, right? All the doctors, you give them this drug, give this. Hey, your kid's a little bouncy. You don't know how to parent them right. You got to put them on a cocaine drug, basically a drug like cocaine. He has ADHD, right? You got to give him that Ritalin, right? Get him to focus, get him to streamline focus. And I mean, geez, Louise, people. And now they think that this is going to be the next thing. This is going to be the next thing. And they think that this is going to be something that's going to make people relax and chill out and, right? And just every time 420 hits around, they're gonna toke up, which by the way, 420, the number's 420, okay? 4 is the number of birth, all right? I was just talking to Jason from I Am Chris, cool channel, man. I was just talking to him about this because he sees 444 everywhere. 40 years in the wilderness, right? 40 days, 40 nights. David became king at 40. 40 is symbolic of birth. It's a time of testing. Now 20, on the other hand, is of course 2 lines of powers, the power of 10. It signals the end of a life cycle or a spiritual progression. So you put the 2 together and you basically get 420 is like a time of enlightenment, supposedly. The big news, of course, just within the last couple of days is the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, on Monday just approved the country's first drug derived from marijuana, medication that treats 2 rare and devastating forms of epilepsy, right? The drug GW Pharmaceuticals Epidiolex is made of cannabinoid or CBD. By the way, CBD, they find out, like our brains are specifically wired for this. We have these cannabinoid receptors already there. So there's something to this drug. There's something to the fact that the government works so hard to keep everybody from it. There's something to the fact that now, because there's such misery and such sadness, and so many people understand that this is something that can make a positive difference in their life, that now all of a sudden it's becoming legal. Not to mention, you know why? Because greed. They see it's a cash cow. They're making a ton of money, but they're forgetting that this could be the thing that gets people to start to think again. When this becomes legal, it may open the door to a new day completely. I mean, we're in a time of awakening right now. Who's to say that this isn't part of a higher plan? I've talked about B.F. Skinner, and he did the punishment reward system, right? Well, Obama, I've done shows on this. He, in 2015, signed an executive order about how to use behavioral science, to get people to work better. It's like, how do you get people happy to do their job, work longer for less? That's what the world's doing right now. It's taking everybody, it's keeping everybody so focused on, you got to work harder to make less money. So distracted, just like in Brave New World, you just get all this thing. You just hit them with all the stuff they want. Get them with the lust and the drugs and the this and the that and the lifestyle, and keep everybody so scattered that they can't think straight. Get everybody looking outside of themselves for the answer as opposed to looking inside of themselves for the truth that we should all be asking for. Now, am I against marijuana? No, I'm not against it. Am I for marijuana? I'm not going to say I'm for it either. I'm not going to tell anybody what they should do with their life, but I will say that this is the next thing. That's what's going on with the Mara Jane in the world today. And let me know what you think in the comments. Tell me what you think. I'd really like to know if you're for it or against it. Either way, I think that the day we're in is exciting, and I hope you feel the same way. Do me a favor and tell everybody about the channel and get involved. And I will see each and every one of you again, either this Friday or next Tuesday. Well, every Tuesday I'll be here, but I'm going to always try to get a couple of more shows out to you. I love each and every one of you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.